Hello, everyone that's joining us right now. You are welcomed into the iConixxx world. And I am here with my beautiful partner and host, Chris Sorby, and our amazing icon today is Hugo, and you're going to hear more from him as I just kind of share with you that what you've tuned into is iConixxx. And please sit back and listen with open ears. And as I always say, please have a paper and pencil. You never know when an iconic can shoot off a book that's inspired them, or a phrase, or a show, or whatever. So, you know what, take this as a learning tool, but also just relax and get to know this amazing individual and take at least one or two things away today that you can take to your clients. And on that note, I'm going to throw it over to Chris. Chris, how are you, Chris?
I am wonderful and absolutely delighted to have one of my dearest friends who is also director of Red King Creative of Design and also director of education. He's an artist that I've worked with for many years. I absolutely love him to death, and I know you will. So welcome, Hugo.
Oh, wow.
Hello, Hugo.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm excited to get on and share some tips and some experience. I'm excited for kind of like the almost like what created me process.
Yeah.
So yeah, here to share.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you a question, Hugo.
Okay.
What is the most important lesson that life has taught you?
Ooh, that's a really good one. I think the most important lesson life has taught me is that there's no failures in life, only feedback.
I love that
Yeah.
one. Write that down, everybody.
Yeah.
Exactly. And goodness knows, with us both being involved with Red King, you still, me not, although I miss you all madly. We're taught so many things by Red King. I think that we use in our classes and programs, and it's just been so valuable. And I've been honored to watch your growth over the years and to see how you just flourished. So chill out, say whatever you want to say. We don't care if you swear. We don't care if you have a gin and tonic by your side or any of that, but I'm going to pass it over to Joseph now, because he's going to ask you.
Yeah, I do. I want to dig a little bit into, like, when the egg cracked and you came out. Where was that? Like, what part of the world were you brought into?
Well, I think that's a great question when you think about like the generation of hairdresser that I am, or the generation, let's say, of person that I am. I was born in the 70s, mid 70s, 1974 in California, and my parents are from Mexico, but I was conceived and born in the States. But interestingly so. Over in like Southern California. I discovered later on in life that I had like a grandfather and uncle on my father's side that did hair, and my aunt did hair. So, cool. Yeah.
Did you see them? Like, were you, I mean, I come from a family of hair, and I would play with my Tonka trucks and stuff, my racetrack on the floor, but didn't realize that my dad was cutting hair in a barber chair to the right of me. So were you seeing that going on, but it just wasn't something that clicked yet?
I saw it mainly with my aunt, because I was like, she would take me to her beauty school and cut my hair there. And I was too young to understand kind of like the little group of her colleagues kind of standing around her watching me cut my hair. And there was an inkling, to it, but I couldn't understand. I honestly felt, it made me feel good, because I was like, oh, they must think I'm cool. I was like 6.
Hot is the word, Hugo.
Wow, I love that. So it was your aunt. Your aunt owned a school.
No, she took me to school while she was going there, and she took me
Oh,
to
okay.
get my haircut. Yeah,
Okay,
So you were
cool,
her
cool.
model.
yeah. There we go.
You were her model.
And
that
what
was
did
in,
you want to be Sorry, Joseph, go ahead.
no, you go ahead. Go ahead. The
Oh, I was
internet is
just
the internet is choppy. So
okay.
go ahead.
All right. So Hugo, what did you want to be when you were growing up?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think that when that subject came to across my conscience, like what I really wanted to do or what I thought I really wanted to do. I mean, what kid that grows up, I think especially in the States, what kid doesn't want to be like a fireman or a policeman or like an astronaut? I think those like kind of typical things. And I can tell you this, I was far removed from playing with dolls or things like this. I never, skateboarded and surfed and stuff. So um, the the interesting thing about that is just that, like, what prompted me to kind of decide to really pursue hairdressing is it's funny because incidentally I was cutting my own hair, decided that I wanted to get my haircut a certain way. So that haircut required a lot of upkeep. And so I'd asked my mom, like I was bugging her for money for a haircut every like week. It'd be like five, like my chops. Mom, I need to get faded up. I liked it really short on the back and sides and like kind of long on top. And I don't know. She never said anything about it, but all of a sudden some clippers appeared. Like the universe says, "Here, you should probably just do this yourself." So some clippers appeared, and before I took to my own hair, because I think every kid too takes to their own hair at one point in their life. There's an episode where we all did like just took our hair, went like this with some scissors, and just I know I
Yeah.
was one of them, but that still didn't register as, oh, I want to do hair. It was like, no, this is a thing that's naughty. And as a kid, and so by the time I really like, if you fast forward back, okay, now it's the need is like this hair fashion thing, skateboarding culture. So I wanted to assimilate myself more to that. And so I started like, having a friend of mine try it, and I said, "Hey," and the haircut was called a step cut. So he started to give me like a step design, not
Oh.
shortness underneath and long over top. So we can just say he really effed up my hair. And so fast forward to the next time we were trying to get it fixed, it's my stepdad or my dad and my sister, and they're like, they're like, see that? And they're just having their way, and I just said, all right. So I let them do whatever they want, and that's when I promised myself, before I just go and try to go back to the salon and give up on this thing, I'm gonna try it myself. So I went back to the barbers. I asked them if I can watch or ask questions on what they're doing, and they were nice. But you have to remember too, I was going to a barber shop, and these were probably like post World War II veterans or something, because guy, I've never seen this, but this guy doesn't ask you anything. You sit down, he starts cutting your hair, and the next thing you know, he's just standing there, and you like fell asleep as he's cutting my hair. Well, I'm not gonna learn from that guy. Like I had a favorite guy, but then I try to avoid the other guy. Like so. Anyways, he was nice enough to yeah, oh cool, and I always noticed I liked my hair halfway through the haircut. Once they cut the back and sides, I was like, oh, just leave it. I was too shy to tell him to just time out. It was it shyness or respect for them, maybe a mixture of both. But anyways, long story short, I started cutting my own hair, and it actually came out okay. And then I was cutting like friends' hair and this and that. Fast forward to
Wow.
like I think I'm like 16 years old, and 16 or 17, and some my girlfriend at the time, Lighty Walsh, if you're ever watching, your mom was like, "Hey, do you have any hobbies?" And I was like, "Well, I love to skateboard and I love to hang out with your daughter, and I cut hair sometimes." And she was like, "What? You cut hair?" I was like, "Yeah, like I'll cut my friend's hair and this and that." She's like, "Oh, wow." So she whips out Woof W magazine, and I think I don't know if it was W or what. It was one of those like the
Yeah.
magazine weren't the normal size; they're like a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
Yep.
And
that
so,
was W.
okay, she was flipping through it, and she's presenting the concept of hairdressing to me, but in not the movie Grease, like beauty school dropout style, but like presented it in a way where it was like very like fashion. So she's like, "See these models?" And I was like, "Yes." She goes, "Well, do you think you would want to do their hair?" I was like, "Sign me, well, yeah, sign me up. Sure." Who, I mean, which red-blooded American male doesn't want to? I mean, I'm speaking for myself. Who doesn't want to do that? So yeah, where do I sign up? So funny story about that is I go to my high school's ROP program at Claremont High. Thank you, Claremont High ROP. I go to ask on a Tuesday, let's say, "Hey, I'm looking to sign up for hair." And so they give me all the info. Next day, my twin sister comes in. Hi, Michelle. She comes in and she goes, "Hi, I need to get information to be like a junior uh, scout thing for like the police academy." And they started laughing. And she goes, "Why are you laughing?" "Well, your brother was just in here yesterday for beauty school, and now you're gonna be in the police academy. What's wrong with you?" Sure. And this is like the '90s, so it was the early '90s, so we didn't have like those social sensitivities just yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Cool.
That's cool. That's
that's
very
that's
cool.
the
So
good story, isn't it?
yeah, I love
I
that story.
love
So
it.
how were you in beauty school? Like, were you a rock star or were you a cocky dude?
That's a good question. I think in beauty school, um, first day in beauty school, I'm like I have like they give me my kit, and it's got like the rollers and the doll head in there. So I go into this room and I'm seeing all these people in lab coats, white lab coats, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be a dentist, and do I have to wear this when I do like when I'm working? Like, no. Anyway, anyways, I have there's a sea of doll heads in the room, and they're like, "Okay, let's do a wet set." So okay, cool. So I grab a piece of hair and I'm trying to like put it on a roller, and it's just like, what is this? And I'm trying to, and you just should, it just like, look at, I just put it on and it just fell right off. It didn't. I was like, I don't know if I should do this. That was like my first day.
That
But
is a true.
those rollers were hell to put in. There was really a technique for doing that.
Well, they said magnetic. They said I'm like, what part of this is magnetic? What the hell are you talking about?
Isn't that right? Isn't that right? Like you had to have
Oh,
enough of that sloppy, slimy gel so that it just stuck to the roller when you put that on. That's cool.
Yeah.
So where was your school? Where was school in
which
California?
yeah.
Yeah, I started off at this school named Marinello Academy, and then I took a break to, get in trouble with the law. And then after that break, I came back to a school called Covina School of Beauty, and like bless them for like my education. However, beauty school for me was kind of like a do-it-yourself type of place.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I wasn't very keen on like, I didn't learn that much in beauty school. And
I get
everybody
it.
that's ever that I talked to had said to me, yeah, we have a ways to go yet. And so it's not the beauty school where you learn on like experience with clients, unfortunately.
Poor client. Which living person do you most admire and why?
Oh, that's a great question. It's like
It's a
giving
great
me
one. It's a great one.
existential wisdom type question there. Oh, wow. Well, I have to say, in context to this, I have to say, when I picked a hero for a hairdresser, since we're talking about heroes, I have to say that Val Sassoon, growing up with the phrase, if you don't look good, we don't look good. And it just, as a child, even, you don't even realize that the phrase, your perspective and your perception on that phrase is one thing as a child, but then as you grow up and if you keep hearing it enough, you realize what it means to you as a service provider. And so there's that prong to it. But I think the idea that somebody picked hairdressing to make a change, revolutionary change, and to give themselves 10 years to, if they haven't like changed the business, that they're gonna quit. And it's like, I feel like it's not a story necessarily about quitting, it's a story about winning. And I think it's a fascinating story when you think about a human's existence and their impression on this planet. And I think that, to me, it was a great one to try to emulate, because here I am, I'm sitting here in my second home in Washington. And who knew that when I picked up a pair of scissors, and I'll tell you, it was like the first scissors were like, who knew that when I was a kid that I was going to be flying around the world sometimes to speak about hairdressing, to do hair. I mean,
Yeah.
and so I think that I have to give the honor in that sense to a person that has come and gone, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, we didn't get to document him. We were a little late.
yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, I've known that about you, Hugo. I know that he's always been your inspiration, and your work is so precise and full of precision. And you really think about every single cut that you make, the way that you hold hair, the way you hold your scissors, and then how you move your hands around as an end result. It's like watching music happen, and I've always observed that about you. It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that's so nice. Hugo, I've got one for you because I'm working with the students in the school. And, this is always something that Chris Barron, who obviously is a good friend of all of ours, has always said to me that the students really need to be really, when you talk about Sassoon, he cut so good close to the head. You know what I mean? There was such geometric lines and precision. And now the students are way more inspired by color. They don't think about the importance of the shape. They're very much not taught how to cut, close to the head with real geometric haircuts. So, and then they fake it by doing all of this absurd coloring, which isn't always absurd, but some of it, it's like they lack the architectural concept of building the house before you side it. Do you understand? And if there was a way that you could inspire, say there's 10 students right now that their idea of what they're going to do in a salon to make money is they're going to ombre everyone. They're going to balayage everybody. I mean, and they do, because that's what they do. But I work my butt off to try to get them to see the importance of cutting, and there isn't enough of it. But that's where I struggle, and I don't know where you see that. I don't know if you see that, but what inspiration could you give to a growing baby stylist that may need to really hear the truth of what needs to be built first before you go throw bleach or lightener on it? I know that's not a
Yeah.
question.
No, I hear you though, and I think that one of the things that I'm starting to learn and realize, and just as a person that is becoming more mature and with experiences, and I think too, I don't know, I'm like self-diagnosing here, but I feel like I probably had a learning disorder, and I gravitated towards things that were easier to just visually take in and observe and be able to regurgitate it and somehow gain now some learnings from it. That being said, I think I'm in also a generation where there was already the established train of thought, and then I feel like I kind of came in to a place where while there were still the classics were still spoken about and to a certain degree trained on, but what seemed to work was pinpointing the things that already are on the menu that you want to master and serve and offer to people versus trying to learn all the let's say hairdressing and hair cutting as a whole topic. Foundationally, it's like your journey is to get there, you're trying to cherry pick the things that speak to you. And I think that there's something to be said about that where, cool, I think if I can say it this way, in school I was told, here, read Macbeth. And it was supposed to teach me about like literature and the English language and that bit. But if they just said, here, pick a book that you find interest in the topic, you would have gotten me to read every assignment. But because it was already kind of chosen for me, and I was supposed to get something by someone's agenda, the thing I realize is, if I don't even realize I have control of that agenda until I learned what kind of learner I was. So I think there's the classic approach is come in through the front door so you can get into the house, or pour your foundation before you let all those things, right? Sometimes the house is built and you're just coming in through the back door and having a look around and then learning the hard way, all these things. So I feel like I'm a blend of both in that regards. But I will say to the underlined, I think, point of this idea, this conversation, this question, it's, if when you can, you, like, learn those things that are in high priority, like, I mean, even if it's how to comb hair, how to comb and control hair, because our bike controls you. First, the hair controls you, and then next thing you know, you have full control of the bike. You have full control of the hair, how you manipulate it, and that's how you know the difference. Because now you can't explain it, but you're just balancing upright on this bike. And I think that hairdressing is the same way. You get to a point where you can't explain why once you get it until you become an educator and learn how to learn and learn how to reflect it back. But until you make it across that bridge, you just absorb, and then you don't know you absorbed it, and you can't necessarily reteach it, but you just know now that you know it. And I feel like that's kind of like where my journey to come to a place where I had some degree of ability, or what is that called, where you I think it's, what is it called? What's the word?
Look, I'm trying to think for you.
What color is it?
Is
What
it
color is it?
compute something like that you know you really understand how something is constructed together, and then you can put your own spin on it.
Right.
But unless we learn those basics, which I think the word basic puts all of us off, because it's like, I don't want to learn basic. I
Yeah.
want to learn the cool stuff.
Well,
And
I was thinking coherent or incoherent, but that's not it. It has to do like with the stages of learning where you know, you're aware that you know something, and then you're unaware that you know it. Those anyways, yeah, it'll come
What
to
is
me.
it?
oh,
Uh,
I see that you're getting older,
I know.
Hugo. I know what
I know.
it's like.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I don't know. I
can't
can't
think of
help
the
you,
word.
buddy.
But besides, you might recall this, Hugo. We were in LA, you and I, we were in the smallest model prep room in the world. We were doing LA Fashion Week, and you burned a hole in my elbow. So besides that being your most embarrassing moment, what's another one?
My most embarrassing moment, just period, or my most embarrassing moment as a hairdresser?
Whatever you want to share.
Well, okay. I mean, for anybody that might know me, I feel like I'm a jovial guy, and I feel very comfortable in the spotlight now or on a stage in front of however many people. But I don't think you would ever know that when I was in elementary school, I think fourth grade, fifth grade, there was a talent show. And I remember that I wanted to do Eye of the Tiger, but for some reason, maybe I didn't know how to say, I wanted you to play Eye of the Tiger when I'm doing this dance. So I played I Love Rock and Roll by Joan Jett. And I had no choreography plan. All I did was go out there and do a bunch of jumps and like dance around. And I thought I was all tough, but day of, my mom's like putting me in my Sunday best. I'm like, what are you doing to me? She's like, no, you have to put this belt on. I was like, oh gosh. And I wanted to like go with cut off sleeves and just rock out. And nope, my hair was all combed and I looked like I was going to Sunday school. And so I get there and my song goes on and I start going, I start doing like these like jumps and stuff. And my belt, like the little like hook kind of just came loose. And so people saw it kind of flap open as I was jumping around. And the whole place was in stitches. And that's where I realized I'm naturally funny and without trying to be. And then I also realized that, yeah, that outfit, it did not work for the deal. So
Oh my God.
that was pretty, yeah. I came off that stage crying. And you know, if you think about you know, Symposium 2019, there was tons and tons of people, you know, and so yeah, it's just the funny thing is you would think it would damage me for life, you know, but I think if I can just plug this in on that is, I think those are the things that, you know, we need to like get over it, and life goes on. And again, I think that's where there's no failure, only feedback. And I think the more we can like understand that, the less emotional we'll get about failure. And I think, you know, success is built on failure, not necessarily success all the time.
And you know, Hugo, as an educator, that is absolutely your power, that you teach with humor, you teach in such a cool way that people just fall in love with you. They're not listening to a word you're saying, but they just fall in love with Hugo. Then you do your dance moves and that's it. They're in the bag. All 10,000 of them when you're standing on a symposium stage.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, you know what? You really do have a good heart, sense of humor, artistic. You're really amazing to actually watch. I've always admired your work. I want to know though, what brought you from the salon world into the world of stage? Like, were you at a salon one day and a salesperson saw you and said, "Dude, you could be on stage for Redken"? Or what? What were you with another company first? I mean, what happened? Where did that come? What happened?
Oh, I love this question. So by the time, like, we talked about, I got suggested to go to beauty school. So I went to beauty school. Beauty school 2.0 for me. I actually started assisting at a salon on Saturdays, and that salon was the place. Thank you. They're called Art Deco. Thank you, Paula, for taking me to my first hair show. Because it was 1992 or 93. It was 93. And it was called Salon Forum at the Universal Hilton in Universal City, California. And this is where I saw, like, because I we're talking about heroes and this and that. And so, I think Sassoon had already been established, but like, you didn't necessarily go to a hair show and see like this one. But in particular, it was like I saw Paul Mitchell, I saw all these people, but I had heard about this gentleman, Trevor Sorby. So I was really like excited to see this show. And I remember like the stage was dark and boom, lights come up and this model's stuck to the wall. And then the music starts and she walks off. And, when she stuck to the wall, her hair is just huge. And as the music like goes, she walks off and she's just got short hair. And I was like, wow, like those, oh man. And then I saw and then Trevor comes out and it's like the opening jam. And he like gets this frame that he made from coat hangers and just pins it to the girl with short hair, takes the hair and just starts to like put it on her, and then they do this choreography, and I was mind blown, and I was like, wow. And then to learn that there's a lineage and a connection to Sassoon only made me like go, oh wow, connection made, like boom. So that was just the opener, and I mean, I saw Paul Mitchell, the Chadwicks, come out and do this really cool, just like they called it like a fashion bob, and they use clippers, and model comes out, turns her head, he takes the comb and just goes, turns her head, turns the chair, turns her head, boom, does another little deal. And I was like, what? I mean, and I think like by the time I finished the just that little opening jam, I had this lump in my throat because I was like, whoa. Not only did I realize I like cemented in that moment, I had realized, gosh, I really want to be a hairdresser, but boom, I really want to do what these people are doing. The magic, that kind of wow factor. I was like, wow, I'm 19 years old and I've been blessed to find a group of people that are creative, and the fashion that I got to see. And I have always considered myself, and I'll just guilty dark secret of mine. I've always kind of considered myself a little bit of a tastemaker in my own way. And so when I saw other tastemakers around, I was like, these are my people. And I couldn't even articulate that maybe until just now, but this is like, also look like I've never seen this in a magazine. I've never been around. I'm still too young to go to nightclubs per se.
Yeah.
But people look cool, and I'm in. So like, it was so many things that hit all at the same time. It was mind blowing. Then, I mean, when I got back, I started to recreate the stuff I saw Trevor do with like this gelled updo and some blonde wefts that you glue into it. And I was right there. I mean, I was on fire. And I even got made fun of at the
Wow.
salon because I was like turbo. They're like, easy turbo. Like, you know, I was able, at that point, I was able to kind of copy some of the things. And my notes were on point. I was young. I was hungry. And I think, getting in trouble and coming back as a renewed student in hair school and stuff, and now I'm in real survival mode. This was the thing I could gravitate to, and I was blessed to discover I loved hairdressing and I love teaching already, and so that started my fire. But I didn't join Redken or didn't get the opportunity until 1990, end of '99. But beginning of '99, I was asked to do symposium with George Alderetti, and this is coming after about 2 years of being told, no, Redken doesn't need designers. We only need colorists. So, better luck next time. And I was put off for a couple of years, and really, I was, in my mind, my back was turned. I was walking away. Like, I guess I should knock on another door. And George was like, hey, I asked for you to be my support. It was George Alderetti and Suzanne Villa at the time, now Suzanne Sturm, that they allowed me to work their backstage support team, and I was one of the designers. And I was just, when they let me out there, I was like on fire. And so,
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's where I got the kind of like foot in the door. And then at the end of symposium, Sherry was like, I heard you're not with our brand, but why aren't you with our brand? I'm like, I've been knocking on your door for 2 years. So she's like, all right, well, you're coming to our training and blah, blah, blah. So I started my training officially in the summer of 2009. I mean,
wow.
1999, yeah, when I was just coming on board as well. And, I'm sure that they have not regretted one single day of you being.
I'm sure.
One of the artistic directors, and you're just amazing.
It's a great story. Good story. Glad we got that documented, you little shyster.
So, Hugo, what other, things that you've shared, and thank you for getting deep down and personal with that story, especially as you've never shared that publicly before. I certainly have never heard that story. So if you were speaking to students now that were in school, they've just been through hell and back, like so many people with the COVID thing and all of that, what advice would you give them to make their journey more comfortable, and that they haven't missed out on anything?
I think that, as far as, this situation is concerned, I think we have to look at the obstacle in front of us as an opportunity. And I think, sure, if you're just starting out and you don't know what you don't know, I get it. But I think it's important to know that right now, the dust hasn't settled, and the industry that's already always changing is changing, but at a faster pace. And I think now more than ever, it's important to be firmly planted with your skill set as far as just foundationally. And so if you're troubled with gaining clientele, I think it's important to seek education to further sharpen the sword, so that when things were kind of get back to a place where there isn't anything that's going to be foreseen as urgent, you'll be ready. And I think that's the whole thing, is like, we have a choice. And a good friend of mine said to me something about people in general. There's and this, like, from like polarities of, there are lazy bums and there are busy bums, meaning you literally can be like a lazy homeless person. You can be a very busy homeless person. Or there's also lazy millionaires and busy millionaires. And I think that's the thing. If you just take the label away, there's busy people and then there's lazy people. Now,
Mm-hmm.
none is better than the other. I want to first and foremost just stress to you that no, it's if you're busy, doesn't make you good or bad. If you're lazy, it doesn't make you good or bad. The only evil that comes from lazy is the results that you get are the results that you didn't plan on being like ready for. But when you're busy, the results you get are the results that you can expect to get from being busy. Does that make sense? So I think that's the idea, is like if you do nothing in this time, you're not gonna come out of this any better. But if you do something, if you educate yourself, if you talk to people, if you get information on the right steps to feel comfortable, you might feel less victimized, especially if you're a person like a hairdresser. Going back, I know I can speak from experience. I feel like, why are they putting so much restrictions on us? But at the same time, we feel like we're in the front lines of being exposed to potential danger. At the same time, we're playing with a very sensitive um, subject, because it's like we still need to make a living. So there's across the spectrum of people that are just entering the business, people that are owners that look, in California, they just ordered to close down again. So people, it's a tough time. I understand. I think that, once again, history is just repeating itself. And if we know anything about that, that means we will get through this. And I know that while we're getting through this, the important part is to don't come to a final conclusion. It's not over yet. Let's get through this. I think that's my main point here, is be open to the fact of you can control. The only thing that you can control is your desire for control. And sometimes you have to let things happen. But in the meantime, what are you doing to get out of this better than before?
Yeah. I just hope that a lot of people did take on board with that time off and learn more. And I mean, the amount of education that came out of Redken, we had Sherry on the program last week, and she was telling us about all what's been going on and how things are changing and stuff. And there's no excuse for not having the opportunities to learn. So I do hope people have discovered how much fun that can be, even online, and continue doing that. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I would like to add, Hugo,
yeah, go.
were you a part of, you obviously had to be a part of some of that education that was floating around during the pandemic. We were all down and the kids were in distant learning, and you were a part of that. Were you a part of that?
Yeah.
I saw you come in and out. I just want you to know that my newest associate as of now is an amazing, amazing stylist. As far as when he auditioned, his cutting techniques and his styling techniques were like, where the hell did that come from? And when I asked him, he's like, it was all the Redken training and all the time I spent at home watching the videos that really helped me. So kudos to you, and just know that really was, I told the students, you don't understand what you're getting. You paid for this to come here, and you're getting a lot, and you guys are spoiled. You're using the best shears, the best education, the best skincare. But you know what? Now you just got what you could barely afford to do if you got out of here the first year or two, unless you had wealthy parents that could send you, to school in New York to get this. So, I mean, kudos to you. My hat, which is not on, and I will not take my hair off as a hat to bow to you. But I'm just telling you, thank you for that, because know that it really paid off.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hugo, what would you say has been your biggest disappointment?
My biggest disappointment, I think, was at the same time, it was a blessing, but it was losing the salon. In 2005, the building was condemned where I was, and I put some blood, sweat, and tears into it. And it was I'd owned the salon for 3 years, but at the same time, it had been such a ride. I mean, it was the salon that the first like real like kind of high end salon that I kind of went to work for, and they had a really great education program, and I fell in love with it for that. And so I wanted to keep the legacy going, but it was a big learn. And it's interesting that we talk about it because when I closed, it was 4th of July, 2005. And I remember the last load of things we were bringing from the salon to the shipping container to store it. It was, it started to get dark. So all the fireworks, and, like when you think of fireworks, do you think happy or sad? Well, you think happy because it's like we're celebrating. But I can just remember feeling sad and seeing all the happiness that was, as I'm driving. And so it took me a while. It was, I'll say, emotionally draining. And I was left holding a $30,000 bag of debt. And, that's a moment where, gosh, that's disappointing, isn't it? But it's nice to come full circle. Mm-hmm. And kind of reopen a salon, if you will. It's a small one, 2 chairs, but I feel like the circles on this sign are kind of like indicative of me coming full circle and getting over it. And hey, let's try this again. So,
right. And being brave enough to do it, because it takes so much courage when you've had one bad experience and go and do the same thing again. But this time you'll do it with a lot more experience behind you. And I think it's amazing. And I don't know anybody else who opened a brand new salon in this time. So, yeah, just saying.
Yeah.
But it is wonderful. And I love the name. I think the name is absolutely great.
You know what? I do too, man. I mean, the hue, it has your name in it. I love the circles. It is what you just said. All the different colors and hues in the circle. I mean, come on. Talk about bullseye. And then it looks like a bullseye. I didn't even mean to say that. So you know what? There you go. You are sitting in it to win it. Awesome. Yeah. Love it. Love it. Is there something else going on though with Hugo that there's something else going on that has been going on that I may have seen or heard of that he needs to make a mention of, maybe in a celebratory way in your life, a humanoid or something?
A massive event by any chance?
Yeah, well, we still plan on getting married, Megan Gepner and I. And so, yeah, I'm very pleased to announce and confirm or reaffirm that, even regarding all, everything that's going on, we still plan on, even if it has to be a little backyard wedding, then that's what it has to be. But
I think that's awesome. That's awesome. Let me know if you need your hair done. I'll be there for you.
No, but he's got 3 girls who need their hair done, Joseph.
Yeah.
Well,
so cool to be a dad to 3 kids all in one hit.
Well, I just got what's cool is I just got back from California yesterday, and was it yesterday? No, 2 days ago. And yesterday morning, and I got in, I had to go straight to work and prepping, and so I was prepping till about midnight, and so I kind of missed hanging out with the girls. So the next morning, they just all kind of jumped in bed and tackled me and gave me hugs, and
I love that.
It's such a cool feeling.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they consider me dad-like.
I love that. That's a form of yoga. There's peace within that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yep. Well, anything else?
Do we have some questions, Joseph?
I want to ask, all right, let's talk time. Those time capsules, you know what I'm talking about? So if in 100 years, a beauty school, a hair academy student were to open that capsule and read something about you, what would you want them to read about you of something that maybe you left a footprint behind, or, you know, just something? What could that be? What would it be? What would you want them to read about you?
I like this because it's kind of aspirational type question. Well, because of Sassoon's impression on me, one of the things was to revolutionize or like really create some kind of standard or way that can kind of go on forever or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, yeah, I don't feel like my job is done until I've left my mark somehow, some way in the business, whether it's actually like a method of haircutting or a system of serving. And I don't know what that looks like yet, but I feel like that's really it. Is like I would love to create some kind of change in the business that really, you know, helps hairdressers, new and experienced, do their job easier.
You know
And
what? It sounds like you're like really, really, really close. Like I almost feel like I can feel that. If you're going to speak like that, that
I
means that
know
you are so close right now.
that's a good point. Well, I think if you know, with anything, as long as it crosses our mind, then
Mhm.
then it can become true. I
Yep.
believe
It
that,
is.
so.
Yeah. I feel
You've
that.
sown that seed, Hugo, and opened the door, and yeah, it'll hit you.
Yeah, yeah. You just we have to be ready to accept it. You know, so it's sometimes it's hard. You know, you can knock and we can miss it. So I'm just happy that I've had some experiences enough to realize, a no matter how far you feel like you've reached, or how far people told you you've reached, you've almost gotta like have the mindset of only started. I think for healthy reasons, you know.
Yep,
I love it.
absolutely.
Doesn't an hour go fast when you're shooting the shit?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I think that I was long-winded, but it was
No.
enjoyable.
Uh-uh.
Yeah.
I think we've only just begun. We don't know if there's a part 2 yet, but would you be willing to come back and chat with us or get involved with us deeper if we see, you know, because like what your vision is, leaving a mark, I think is what our vision is. I mean, there's something to what we're doing and it's going to leave a mark. And certainly as involved as I am in the school systems, you know, it's going to make a big difference. It's quite a coffee table book. So, you know, I want to thank you for taking your time. I
Absolutely.
know you're busy, you know, and thank you so much for doing this, because I know that you have a choice too of who you hang with for an hour. So I really
Well,
appreciate you and always
my
have.
pleasure. Thank you. Well, it's my pleasure and my privilege, and thank you for the honor. And I think I'm in really incredible company, and I just feel like I've been blessed for chasing my dream. So thank you.
We
You
love
are
you, Hugo.
so welcome. You're so
We
welcome.
absolutely
We're
love you.
coming back to you in a non-haunting way.
Let's
Mhm.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm working on iConixxx attire.
cool.
So we gotta get you like an iConixxx hat, a kind of cool one. I'm working on it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Give me like a cool, chain.
Oh, that's fab.
Yeah, shoot. Who did that?
Oh, this was I just went to a jeweler in like LA back in the day, and you know, I mean, I can't afford like real gold this heavy, but so
But it's
So
cool though. That's custom. That's
yeah.
custom.
mhm.
It beats an L and V for Louis Vuitton. I'd rather wear the hue. Looks good on a t-shirt. That would look good on a
It's
t-shirt.
this is very bespoke.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Oh, wink, wink.
Yeah.
Love you, darling.
Love
Love
you
to
too.
Yeah,
all of you,
buddy. Peace.
family. Thank you once
Thank you.
again.
Love you a lot, buddy. You
All
you
right.
keep going and be who you are. You're an inspiration to many, and you still are. So
Thank you.
thank you so much for being with us on iConixxx, and I appreciate that. help us spread the news. I believe next week we have.
Next week, it's you and I, Joseph.
Oh my God! Somehow I got to be an iconic in
Right.
there somewhere. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're our icon, and I'm
And
going
it,
to be asking you some questions.
yeah, God, imagine that. Imagine that. All right. Well, on that note, thanks, Hugo. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. And you know what? Like Chris said before, we'll send you all the links and stuff. So if there's anybody, or if you want to sit back and rewatch it or whatever, but I thank you because a lot of these documents are going to go out through all the academies, and eventually they're going to put them within the curriculum. So we're building it. We're building our library.
Cool.
Yeah, and also, Hugo, before I forget, if you wouldn't mind sharing with us, or with Cassie, should I say, 3 images that you love. It doesn't matter if they're not a collection or part of a collection, but just 3 of your favorite images of your work would be fabulous for us to put up on our page as well.
Wonderful. Will do.
And also remember, if in the future you come up with a tchotchke, like you said, right? Something to leave your, let us know, because we're going to be really connected into the world of who needs to be getting that information.
Oh, okay. I like this.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, yep. So please just keep us in the loop. We'll keep you in the loop. And on that note, we'll say peace out so that we can all go have a wonderful evening. All right, my friend.
All right.
Peace.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Good luck with
darling.
your salon. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much.